Hello there and welcome to another video. We're going to be looking at Manchester United versus Liverpool, or Liverpool versus Manchester United, I should say, as well. And I wanted to wait until we got the result of Manchester United versus Leicester. And we've had that result now, and Leicester won 2-1. Obviously, Manchester United put in a much changed team that they would normally put out, and it's totally understandable. Pretty much the same as what Klopp has said in his press conference earlier today, in that they're playing three games within 5 days. They're playing. They've been what they played on Sunday, they played on Tuesday, and they're playing on Thursday against us. And they're not coming up against necessarily easy competition either. I think they played, what was it, Aston Villa? Was it? Might have been Aston Villa. I'm going to say that it was. It might not have been. Then they went and played Leicester, who were just below them in the table, I think, and then they're coming to play us. And while we haven't been at our best this season, or for the majority of this season, I should say, it is fair to say that they want to, put out a strong team against us. It's totally understandable. Can't really quite, it's, for me, I ignore all of those things that people say where it's like, oh, United only did it to make sure that Leicester would win and they could screw up Liverpool's chances of getting Champions League qualification. No. We are screwing our chances of Champions League qualification all by ourselves. We've had horrific injuries, that is true, but we have also not performed consistently well for the entire season. We had I think we were top of the table by Christmas or something like that, or at least in the conversation, like near it, maybe second or third. But I'm pretty sure we may have been top at some point as well, and then just absolutely dive bombed off a cliff once we got into January. We've only got ourselves to blame if we don't get Champions League qualification. So I'm not even looking at that. I know a couple of weeks ago I said top four is over. I do think the top four is over, but who knows what can happen. Leicester have got to go play Chelsea twice. They got them in the cup final, then they've got to play them in the league, and then they've got to go and play Tottenham in the league as well. Not necessarily easy games, but we don't have easy games either. In no particular order, we've got Man United, Burnley, West Brom, and Crystal Palace to end our season. And a lot of people would look at some of those and think, oh, West Brom relegated, you can absolutely smash the back doors in on those guys. Palace, you should be able to beat those guys. Burnley, one position above the drop zone or something like that. You should be able to go and beat them. But Burnley took our Anfield record. We got a draw against West Brom. And Crystal Palace, yes, we did put 7 goals past Crystal Palace earlier this season, but I don't believe that is what's going to happen again. I would be very, very surprised if Liverpool can flick some sort of switch between Thursday this week against Man United all the way up until Crystal Palace and get 12 points out of 12. If we do it, it's brilliant. It is brilliant. And then I would also be asking, where's that been for the like 3-month period from January to like April? Where was all of that? But hey, if we end up getting Champions League qualification, we would deserve it because we've got there. But if we don't get it, we don't deserve it. We haven't been screwed by anybody else. It's our own fault. And you just have to take it on the chin, move on to the next season, see what happens in the summer, kick off the season, we go again in whatever competition we're in. Also, getting rid of the fact that we might not even be in Europe completely, depending on what UEFA want to do in terms of, further punishments. If anything like that is going to happen, where, us, United, City, all those guys that were, in league to go for the Super League could potentially get kicked out of European competition. I don't know whether that will happen or not, or whether it's just going to be fines, a slap on the wrist, and we all walk away together happy. I don't know. Anyway, Klopp has ruled out Ozan Kabak for playing against Manchester United, which is a shame, but he says that he's got complete faith in Nat Phillips and Reece Williams playing as a centre-back partnership. And I fully commend him for saying that, because I believe that's exactly what we should do. I think that we should go with pretty much the same lineup that we had in our previous match. My God, who did we just play? Southampton, there we go. I think we should go with something pretty similar, if not the same. Yes, Reece Williams and Nat Phillips will get done for pace. And obviously people will be having a mental image. As soon as he said that, I did have a mental image, I will say. It's not a negative thing, I don't think, but you just picture the likes of a Rashford coming up against Reece Williams, Nat Phillips. And obviously when you've got Trent and Robertson as your defensive wing backs or full backs, whatever, and not necessarily always the best at covering the centre backs and helping them out, yeah, it's going to be a tough night for them. It really is going to be a tough night for them. But this is the situation that we're in. Other people would say put Fabinho into defence, and I'm against it purely because Fabinho is so good in midfield. We're going to need him in there. We are going to need Fabinho. Fabinho is much more worthwhile us having him in midfield to come up against or combat against either a Pogba, either Fernandes, whether it be McTominay, whether it be Fred or whoever it might be, Matic as well, whoever it might be for United that is going to play in those positions or play in midfield in general. Fabinho needs to be in there, and I think Thiago needs to be in there as well. Thiago had a really good performance against Southampton and also scored his first goal for Liverpool for this season, and it was a really well taken goal, really nice, and I hope that he produces more of that in the future. But I think that he can help us get a bit more control in the midfield. The one thing that you sometimes get with Manchester United is they don't always come at you full throttle. They don't come at you like I'm going to use a weird one here, one that we played against. They don't come at you like an RB Leipzig style team, which is full press. Whole team is just hounding you all over the pitch. They don't always do that. They tend to sometimes sit people back a little bit. So maybe the midfield, if they go with a 4-2-3-1 sort of setup or something similar to that, then most likely the 4-2 is literally going to be like 6 defenders. They'll have it back. They'll probably, I don't know, they might let us have the possession and they will want to counter us. And that's a similar tactic that lots of people have used this season. And to be fair, it's worked really well for the people that have used it, which is pretty much everybody. So yeah, I imagine that something like that is going to happen. I think the main difference for United will be, I think Harry Maguire has suffered his first serious injury, or serious-ish injury for Manchester United. I didn't realise he'd played at like consecutive games so many times for Man United without being injured or missing minutes or something like that. But yeah, I think he's either done ankle ligaments or something like that. Could be out. He's in a battle to get ready for the Europa League final. But so he's going to be missing. But they've still got other players in there. They've still got like Eric Bailly, Tuan Zabi, I think is another one as well. Young lads. Other than that, I'll be totally honest with you, I don't know what their defensive cover situation is like, but I don't see them having to do a situation like we've had to do, taking our defensive mid and putting them in the back line. I don't think they have to do that in this one. It's going to be a tough game up front for us as well. Really, really tough game. Oh, other midfielder that I think will play, if he's fit, and I've got no reason to think why he wouldn't be fit. I think our midfield should be Fabinho, Thiago and Milner. And some people might not like that and they'll want to put Gini Wijnaldum in there. But I want Milner in there purely, if anything, because he's a good footballer. He's a very good midfielder as well. Even, at his age and where he is at his career, he's still a very, very good midfielder. Very, very committed, and leadership as well in that midfield. He can be combative, he can spot a pass, and he can still run, which is a good combination that we need, alongside having Fabinho, alongside having Thiago as well. And as I said before, leadership on the pitch, that's what I want to see as well. If he's not fit for whatever reason, then yeah, it's going to be Gini Wijnaldum, in my opinion. Or a curveball one would be Curtis Jones, but I don't think so, not in a game of this magnitude. Up front though, like Sadio Mane, Jota, Firmino, Salah, whichever combination of those it's going to be in the front three, it's going to be a tough night for them. Luke Shaw looks like a completely different player this season, and I imagine that it will be Luke Shaw playing at left back. Then you've got Wan-Bissaka, who, while I don't think that he's the very best right back in the world, what he is good at is recovery runs, slide tackles, and blocking players. That he might not be very good at passing the ball, or he's progressively getting better, but his actual defensive capabilities are very, very good. So whoever plays on that left-hand side, which is either going to be Mane or Jota, it's going to be a tough night for them. And it's going to be a tough night for Salah as well, which also means whoever's up front, whether it's Jota or Firmino, it's going to be a tough night for them. The ideal situation for Liverpool would be in my opinion, would be for us to combat their 4-2-3-1 with our own 4-2-3-1. But I don't think we're going to do it because you could get a lot. You could actually then have Jota and Firmino dropping back behind the striker, which would be Jota, and then that could work. And then you've got a lot more, having either Thiago and Fabinho or Milner and Fabinho as your DMs. You could get a lot more maybe control in midfield, and then you've got options for creativity with someone like Firmino playing a sort of number 10 position behind the striker, and then you've got the wingers that could still make good bursting runs down the side, or they can cut inside. It could open a lot of options for us, but I don't think we're going to do that. I think it's going to be the 4-3-3, and I think it'll end up being... I think he's going to maybe go for Salah, Firmino, and Mane. I think that could happen. Mane scoring a goal against Southampton as well, and looking a lot sharper than he has in recent months as well. Could see a little bit of a late resurgence for Mane, but I'm not holding out too much hope in terms of like banging goals in left, right, and centre for us. I obviously hope for the win. Always hope for the win, but I think it could be a little bit of a tough task in this one as well. I think the thing that we sometimes, or I don't actually appreciate sometimes, is United. No one has a squad deeper than Manchester City, but what Manchester United have is options. So you might see, say, a Mason Greenwood or a Rashford might start up front, for example. I'm not saying that they will or that they have, but I'm just giving you an example. They could go with like Rashford or Greenwood up front, whatever, cool. And then later on, they can bring on Edinson Cavani, who, as an aging player, I thought he was going to be terrible in the Premier League. I didn't think he was going to take to the Premier League very well. Didn't think it was going to be very kind to him. But he's been brilliant for them. He has. He's scored vital goals. He's got them back into games, turned games around, and his attacking movement. He's not the quickest of players, but his attacking movement is just. It's exceptional. You have to say that. It is very, very, very good, very high level. The other thing they could do is they could start with Edinson Cavani, have Rashford out wide, maybe Greenwood on the other side or something like that. However they want to play it. Or God, I cannot remember the name of the young lad that they've got. I think he played against Leicester, and I want to say his name's Diallo, but I'm not 100% sure. They could maybe play him out wide if they're confident in his abilities as well. They've got a lot of options, threatening options, and they look to have better attacking options than we do right now. I think our front three on fire is better than anybody else's, but when it's not on fire, then yeah, we're in the situation we are this season where we are actually scratching and clawing to try and get into a Champions League position. So, how do I think this is going to go down? I want us to win. Always want us to win, but I believe the best that we'll get in this game is a draw. United are, I think, don't hold me on this one because my mind's a little bit today. It's not having the best day, but I think that we are playing at home. United have a really good away record. Key things for United and coming up against United as well is the fact that you can score the first goal against United. You can maybe even score 2 goals against United and go 2-0 up. But when they get into the second half of games, and I'm not saying they're back to, a few years ago under Mourinho where it was like second half FC or whatever it was, but generally it takes them going down to, we need to wake up, we're alive, we're in a game, and then they start turning things on, they start turning the screw. It's difficult to play a team when they're like that because when you go 1 goal up or you go 2 goals up, or in our case, when you do go 1 goal up and you get a little bit comfortable, which I felt our team has, especially against Newcastle, especially against Leeds, where we get comfortable, you get 1 goal and you're waiting. And against a team the calibre of Manchester United this season and the talent that they have, the ability that they've got up front, and also the creativity they've got in the midfield, and also in like overlapping Luke Shaw and all that sort of stuff, you're just gonna put pressure on yourselves, and that is the one thing that I do fear from this United team. Yes, they can go on and they can smash teams. I know that they've got big results against Leeds. They've also got a big result against Southampton this season as well. I fear second half FC because we're not always the best in the second half. Like if we have a good first half or like a fairly good first half, maybe score a goal, and then we don't really kick on from that in the second half, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a really difficult night. It's going to be a difficult night regardless. Anyway, all we can do right now, take it game by game, and focus on just that. That's all we can do because everything's out of our hands. Champions League qualification is not in our hands. It's only in our hands, I think, and I might be wrong on this one, it's only in our hands even a little bit if Leicester lose all their games, the remaining 2 games that they've got, I think, lose all their games and we win all of ours. And then we've also got to hope that West Ham lose all theirs as well. It's things that for me it's too good to be true. It just wouldn't happen in my opinion. So against Manchester United, I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw between the two of us. I think it was a draw the first time that we played Manchester United as well this season in the league. I know we lost in the cup, but yeah, I think they're just. I think they're just. I think they're just better than us at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised if we lost this game. And I think a lot of Liverpool fans actually do feel the same. While we are rivals and we don't like each other in terms of, we are Liverpool, you are United, all that sort of business, you do have to turn around and say, United this year are just better than us. And the table doesn't lie, and it's just a matter of fact at this moment in time anyway. I think we're going to get a draw. It's not the best of starts, is it, for a 4-game run into the end of the season? But I hope that we win. I really hope that the guys go out and put on a good performance. But I think it's just a big ask to go for a win here. I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like the video and subscribe if you're new around here. Please do take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of the evening. But for now, I will see you later. Thank you very much for watching.